Hello and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Rugby League. We're live here from the DIY Kitchen Stadium, Wakefield. Oh wait, there's no power, is there, lads? You get power on in here.
Have we got 10p?
Someone bang it in now.
There we go.
We're back, we've got light. On this episode, we've got myself,
Shay,
Ricky.
We've got Ricky Wilby, who's come on the show to tell us everything about Rugby League that we need to know. From all the weekend's previous fixtures and the next weekend's fixtures coming up. So we'll go through a Challenge Cup review of the weekend and look ahead to this weekend's games with a few different pointers just in between. Ricky, it's good to have you, first time on the show.
Thanks ever so much for having me.
And hopefully you're going to bring us some insightful knowledge of Rugby League in this episode.
We'll see.
Shay, hopefully you can provide at least one insightful thing.
It'll be good, won't it?
I think you've been getting a few attacks on TikTok and Instagram, haven't you, for your predictions so far?
Yeah.
Shall we just go over some of those quickly?
I don't know, you got more flack than me.
To be fair, Will Price, well, that's a shocker, that's done and dusted.
Yeah.
Lee Leopards to win the league, what do you reckon?
Well, you might be struggling a little bit there.
Yeah, I reckon
it's almost
struggle
as bad as didn't Martin Sadler say that Huddersfield were going to win the first 5 games of the season?
That's bad. That is bad. Were it Bradford to finish bottom?
Yeah, Wooden Spooners.
Wooden Spooners, Bradford, I think. Well, I think Huddersfield are doing a good job of that at the minute, aren't they? So, we'll kind of kick-start straight into it. Ricky, no sort of introduction needed. A few people might know you already. However, some might not. Mr. Catalan.
Yeah, for my sins. I did 14 years going backwards and forwards to Perpignan, which was insightful and interesting and a great experience, really. So
Might be quite fitting to start with Catalans' win over Oldham this weekend, 58-0. Well, that just a routine victory, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I mean, they've got a few injuries as well, Catalans, at the minute. So Dodd was missing, so Phoenix Lalu Tanga guy played at half-back and absolutely killed it.
That's interesting, that one, isn't it? Because he's sort of gone there, really, and it looked as if he was going to be kind of playing that same role again as what happened at OKR, where he's not kind of getting a shoe-in, really, but seems he's... Because did he play the week before at Lee as well? I think he might have played or got some games in then.
Yeah.
And then for him to get a bit more. I think what's impressed me most about that is Oldham, they're sort of no mugs. I know they're sort of playing in second tier, but normally in them sort of games, Catalan end up, they'll probably win, but it might be a 40-18 or a 30-20 or something like that. The fact they've nilled them, it's a complete blowout.
Absolutely.
Score,
and
so they've done something right there.
Defensively, they were spot on. They scrambled, and Joel Tompkins said it afterwards as well, that the 0 pleased him more than else.
Standard that, innit? Like, as a coach, you just wanting that 0, and especially Catalan a couple of weeks earlier leaking 30-odd against Saints. I know they got a good win away at Lee. But kind of making Jill Brutus... They get what is it now? The
Stadium Brutus.
That's the one, Brutus. Yeah, Catalan Stadium. It's been a fortress, hasn't it, in the past, and for the fact that teams are going there, and I'm not saying smoking them, but Huddersfield weren't too far away in that first game, even though it was kind of a little bit of a routine first game for them. Saints to get a blowout that were a pretty depleted Saints team were probably quite a surprise, really.
It was, but I think Catalans competed for the first 50 minutes, and then they probably had Lewis Dodd dropped a ball over the line, and that would have levelled game up, and then Saints just ran away with it back end. Yeah,
it did probably blew out more at end, and probably scoreline maybe didn't suggest actually what the game kind of went like, but they're into that next round, aren't they? Cliche, and it's just the win in it. You get the win, and especially in games like that, I don't think it was particularly a banana skin. We spoke about that, it should be routine for Catalan, but I think, as you said, the nil had pleased Tompkins most. What's your thoughts on Tompkins? Obviously a young coach, first proper gig.
He's impressed me this year, so I wasn't too sure when he was first appointed, because they didn't go through an interview process. They kind of like had him as part of the coaching staff and just promoted from within. So last year was tainted a lot by players who were ready to leave and ready to be moved on and whatnot. So you can't really take a lot from last year. But this year, I've said to a few people, the squad reminds me a little bit of Trent Robinson's first year squad, where they've signed players who aren't real household names, but are quality from the NRL reserve grade. So that year that Trent came, no one had heard of Zeb Tyre before.
Yeah,
and he went on to be in Wilby, Jace Batieri, and then the back that up with some seasoned pros like Steve Menzies and some of the French players like Remy Casti and the likes. So I think it reminds me a lot of that sort of squad. They're probably one hard, dirty prop short, if I'm being completely honest. But there's space in the cap for them to go get that. So if that becomes available mid-season, then they could really be pushed towards the back end of the year, especially a massive turnover that they've had. They could possibly do with gelling a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have got a few, like you said, when you throw in the likes of Sexton. I mean, that were just seemed as though they're kind of building for something, but it sort of makes you think, how do you build for something when you've got an half-back that's staying for a year? Like, can you tell us your thoughts on that?
It is, but you can't argue with the fact that he's going back to play as a starting half in a brand new squad in the NRL, so you can't argue with that. But I think the smart piece of business they did was to sign Lewis Dodd for 1 year, and before he'd even kicked a ball, they signed him for another year straight away.
Yeah, it's good.
They've obviously seen, we spoke about this before, they've either seen something early doors and thought, yeah, we want him for longer, or even Lewis Dodd's seen something and thought, well, do you know what? I actually quite like it here. I like it, I'm settled.
The one thing that's really impressed me about Lewis Dodd is that last week he had the opportunity to slate Souths and slate Wayne Bennett, and he didn't take that chance. He was real positive, look, that was an experience that I needed.
I think he had no regrets today, yeah.
And he left the UK as a top half-back. It looks like he's come back as a top half-back, so...
I think he's come back a little bit better, mate.
Size one as well.
Even the games that Catalans have lost, I think he's always been a standout for me. I think he's looked really well, and the way he's running the ball now, he's running the ball a lot more than he was doing before he went out there. Obviously, I know NRL looks for that a lot more in their halves, but I think he's come back a bit of a better player.
If you put that behind another prop who can play long minutes, then he'll look even better.
Who would be sort of an ideal signing? You'd think they could. Are you talking NRL, or are you talking even someone in Super League that possibly the right move for them?
Honestly, I've not even thought about it. I've not thought about it, but you know, like Catalan teams of the past, they've had a Ferriol or a Casti or a Sam Moa. They've always had someone as a bit of an enforcer. Channy, still there at the club.
Yeah.
But his boy's there now, he's Channy.
Yeah.
So he's, along them sorts of lines, they need someone who's a bit of an enforcer, someone who's going to put themselves about a bit. And I know rules have changed and you can't put yourself about as much as what you could do before. But someone who could come out and just put a big hit in or take a big yardage,
just take carries. You know what you're getting, sort of thing. Big hits, strong carries. Yeah, you know what you're getting. But I feel like last year were disappointing for them. No two ways about that. Obviously, McNamara, did he go mid-season? Yeah. And then it just kind of didn't look like it was going to get any better really for the rest of it. But they seem to have had a complete flush out of players. They brought some younger lads in, like I said, Phoenix come in, Josh Sim from Castleford, which there are a few eyebrow raisers, aren't there, when you think
Wilson
about it?
from Salford.
Yeah, he looks like.
But then Charlie Staines at the back. Looks unbelievable. Looks really good.
I think it's exciting for them, and like you say, when they've got 3 young coaches there that are all sort of part of the picture and done everything and won everything in the game, you'd like to think that mentality and kind of all that kind of stuff shouldn't be an issue really, should it? Because they've got the right people in charge.
You look at that coaching staff. They've got Mitchell Pearce, they've got Michael McAlorum, and they've got Joel, and they've all won something. So they're all winners.
Is Sam having aught to do with them?
No, Sam's nothing to do with them at the minute.
Nothing?
No.
He's pretty good on the punditry, to be fair.
He's enjoying himself in south of France, but he's nothing to. He's one step removed completely. So they'll go watch games and enjoy them. But Sean Edwards is at most training sessions.
Yeah, don't he live? He lives near.
He lives in Canada. Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder if he'll end up there at some point.
Just won 6 Nations. I think he's pretty happy.
It cost a pretty penny over there, I would have thought. Maybe when it's coming to an end, maybe he might end up going there. But yeah, exciting for a good win, obviously, for them and into that for the next round. I think is the draw tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow, yeah. So it'll be interesting. When we look at it, I think is it just Super League sides left in? Yeah, just Super League sides left in there now. So Be interesting. Some trickier fixtures there, like you say. You've still got some big teams left in it, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out. But if we go right back, then we'll go back to Leeds and Wakefield on Friday night. Obviously, we've started in the DIY kitchen stadium this episode. Controversial, lights going out. Yeah, not good, but not a good look for the old rugby league. But
it's not, especially considering that was the only game on the BBC this weekend.
That's the worst thing about this weekend. I could not believe the lack of games that were being shown. And let's be right, that game were on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
You know, we went to a local pub, got the games on. Or I think Sky Sports News were on. Oh, can we get the rugby on? What channel is it on? I actually don't even know. And then it was like, oh, it's on BBC iPlayer. Oh, well, we can't get that. Or you can log into the pub TV. I just thought it was criminal. Like, we're talking rugby league, we're not talking tiddlywinks, are we? And you couldn't even get a game on Sky Sports, BBC, Channel 4, Premier Sports, that YouTube channel. Like, even if it were on then, you'd have half a chance of seeing a game.
I had my uncle ringing me up, frustrated as hell, not being able to see. It wasn't even coming up on his iPlayer, so it logged in, but it still wasn't coming up.
It felt the same as me, that it took me some finding.
You had to search for rugby league, didn't you? Yeah. It's just really poor. I don't get that. Surely when the games are booked in, you'd like to think for the next round they've got proper out-and-out Super League fixtures there. Surely someone, Channel 4, Sky Sports, whoever are picking them up. I'm still jury's out on this sportsman, but in fairness, at least it's been shown.
Coverage, it's
it's just crazy, isn't it? Like you say, would that ever happen in the NRL? No. No. You know, they've got New South Wales Cup games streamed probably, and we're still sat there can't even get a proper Challenge Cup.
But they have a Fox League channel, don't they?
Yeah.
We can't. We're on a red button on Sky Sports. Yeah. We're not even regularly on Sky Sports anymore.
You know, and God forbid someone's watching it on Sky Go and you can't even access the red button. So yeah, really disappointing.
We've lost that as well. At least before, sometimes they'd be on like the Sky Sports Action or something. I haven't seen many this year anyway. That's been on any sort of Sky Sports normal channel. It's all been Sky Sports Plus on it, so it doesn't help.
And then you can't even record it, so if you're out, you can't even record it and watch it back.
Which it just doesn't entice like new fans, does it? You know, sometimes someone will be sat there flicking through channels and come on and be like, oh, give this a watch for 10 minutes, and you'll end up liking it. Like, it's not going to happen because they're not going to go searching for it, are they?
Nah.
So.
And I get it, Sky can do what they want because we're completely in their hands. Because without them, we have no sport.
Yeah.
It's tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think it's just it's disappointing, isn't it, to see it, and that's the most frustrating thing. There's some good games at the weekend. Lee and Hull really had that had probably the makings of an half decent game. Obviously, Giants and KR.
But even before you saw the scorelines, you'd have looked at Bradford Wigan would have been worth a watch. Like you say, Hull FC, Leeds, Wakefield, Cass and Saints.
Yeah, that will one Cass Saints have. That's always been televised, even if it's a Super League fixture.
You'd have looked at them and you'd have thought, actually, there's some half decent games there. And even if the clubs get together and think, you know what, we'll fund the stream and people can buy it on YouTube for $4.99.
Did Warrington do that? Warrington, something was shown through something, but you had to pay for it with
$9.99 or something.
Yeah.
With the greatest respect in the world, are you watching a goal against Wakefield? Against Warrington?
Not unless you're die hard, are you?
For $9.99.
But yeah, what do we think then to Wakefield and Leeds? I know for one, I don't think I fancied Wakefield to win that just because of the sheer form of what I thought Leeds were coming into. They looked really well. I thought George Brown were looking really good for them. Sevo's taking some stopping. I know he's still picked up a couple of tries there, but yeah, Wakefield kind of sort of steamrolled towards the end, didn't they? But yeah, even Leeds, I thought, looked in control for the majority of the game. I think the key
try just before half time
killed them.
Yeah,
that's going to go probably up there when it tries its season, I think, as well. Probably the timing of it. You know, Sinfield, masterstroke really. I was really surprised that Ryan Hall didn't pick up that, and he's sort of been caught napping there a little bit, hasn't he? But beautiful kick. Johnson on the edge, not back inside, Pratt, no stopping him there.
He was unbelievable.
He's absolutely lightning as well. Isn't
But it was so good. That was his first game back as well.
Yeah, I think that's
so good.
really helped.
Even that first drive that he had where he run it away from his own line and he broke through the line and it took Sevo to bring him down.
His meters must have been crazy in that game. He looked unstoppable.
Yeah, he had serious value to that team, doesn't he? What do you think to Jacksonville start then at Wakefield?
I think Wakefield will take a bit of getting going, but I think once they get going, Wakefield will be all right, and they will still make the top 6.
Yeah, looked a bit shaky, can't they, to start with, but it seems to be they've had a couple of wins
once
there.
they get going, I think they'll be all right. I think they've got
the depth as well.
Yeah, they've brought in a couple of new players in a couple of key positions, and again, it's just a case of timing and a bit of gelling. And no one wants to go out and train in this weather, do they? I know the full-time professionals, but you're not going to get your combinations right at this time of year. You don't need them right this time of year. You need them right in September,
it's
October.
the end of season, isn't it, as they say. So yeah, Wakefield, massive win for them. We'll come on to Leeds, I think, on fixture preview, but big win for Wakefield, and again, I think Leeds caught a bit napping there, to be fair, in that game.
Didn't Arthur come out as well and say that we're complacent?
Yeah, he did come out and just say he was disappointed, didn't he? Very as you would be.
Yeah, they didn't look anything like they did against like OKR or
completely different team.
Yeah, they didn't look overly.
And it wasn't like they were a sort of disseminated squad or anything. They were.
Yeah. I think it was complaints actually. I think he's it now there because.
But he called him out for it, did he?
Yeah. They just didn't look like they were in a fight there from Leeds, especially like towards the latter stage, second half when they were at one point just to try behind. It didn't look like they were.
No, not all.
Just a strange performance from them considering the start of the season.
Very odd. Wigan against Bradford. Bradford obviously putting up a good fight week before. Again, want to blow out Warwick, but tough gig that going to DW at the minute. I think most teams are going to struggle going there, but. Yeah, I thought Wigan, obviously, a couple of players missing, obviously Bevan and Jyfield, but seems to me like they've probably still got enough to kind of get things over the line.
They've still got like Eckersley and the
he started really well, hasn't he?
Yeah, so I just think Wigan at the minute, they've just got pace to burn and they're throwing the ball around a little bit.
What I thought were interesting, because that Eckersley, I think he is a fullback, isn't he? I think he's a fullback.
I think he was a fullback coming through,
wasn't he?
And if I'm in, I'm thinking, don't put me at fullback, keep me on this wing.
Yeah.
He could end up being the top try scorer this year, flying down with him.
He's only a couple behind.
He reminds me a bit when, not when Charlie were coming through, but When Charlie was scoring 30 odd tries a season. Yeah. That could be him, easily.
Yeah. Big unit as well.
But he looks stacked, he looks even bigger, but they all look huge, to be fair.
Farriman looks really good.
Very sharp, doesn't he?
Because it's tough, innit, coming in against when you've got Bevan French in front of you and everyone's expecting, so...
Definitely, he don't look out of place, looks a really, really good player, to be fair. Wigan through. York and Keighley. Again, you'd expect York to be beating Keighley at home. Will Mash be happy with that? 56-10. Scoring points out there, I suppose that's the main thing. It's not been a tight affair, but obviously
they've only conceded 10. In the grand scheme of things, they've only conceded 10.
And it makes you wonder. Obviously, the game wasn't on like if they've been swapping a few players around, different combinations. Turns into a bit of a training exercise, doesn't it? At some point. Warrington, again, it were David Goliath job this, wasn't it? Interestingly, Warrington's team didn't... We've spoke about Warrington's depth for their squad this season. I think mid-season, and if they're getting a few injuries, could be really tested. I know they've got a lot of good youngsters coming through, but they seem to go with a relatively young side in this game, and they've posted 78 points. Gould played in the third tier just before, they've obviously come up. Playing against the other teams now and had a pretty good start to their season.
They're only 2 years into a process as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You look at some of the players and, like I say, a lot of them are players that have been around Championship 1,
or have been playing for Hull Dockers or, or Ionians or what.
Players that are getting an opportunity out there to play semi-professional rugby. I thought what there was, I don't know if you noticed it, there were an interesting, I think it was like a 10-15 minute video on Gould in sort of prep for that game, and it's kind of went through Jack Miller, one of the players for them, on site all day, going to training on a night, and it's good insight, and they're the sort of things, like, I'm not saying it gets every fan and football fans watching and stuff, but it's good content.
But that's the sort of content that the BBC show when there's FA Cup final, or FA Cup ties in third round.
Going into schools, or showing them speaking to old teachers that they had 20 years ago, or all that sort of building site. And
so BBC lap that up for football, but then don't lap it up for us.
It's disappointing that someone's got to get a grip of that. And that's it.
I think it's massive for the clubs. I know it's been brought into IMG and the social media side of the clubs now, but I think it's massive for... I mean, I've been watching that West Tigers documentary.
Good. I've seen that.
I know they did it last year. I didn't actually realise they did it last year, but I watched the first 4 episodes of their pre-season, and like even that's making me think now, I want West Tigers to do well this season. And it kind of like it makes you want to support them. Like when I was checking their result on the weekend, and that subconsciously, you just seeing that online, social media.
You marry them together, don't you? Yeah. So I seen the results. The Tanks, Cowboys they played.
Cowboys, yeah.
And I saw the first episode just before, and obviously Benji's in this role. We're going off tangent here, but he's obviously under slight bit of pressure, or was, and probably needed a good season this year. And some of the things he was sort of saying, you're sort of looking, thinking like, are they just going to turn the other way here? Like some of the stuff he was asking of him, but he was sending players out, he was sending them off, wasn't he?
But he tells them some home truths as well, though,
yeah. Just saying like, look, if you don't want to be here, just go.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm sure it won't be as clean cut as like, look, you're not making that time, off you go and you're gone. I'm sure there's conversations after that, but that was sort of the standards he's wanting, and I suppose he's been there and seen that, and interesting.
That's what fans want to see.
You then marry up that result of the way and think, something's working here. Yeah. It was like when everyone heard about what Madge were doing at Wigan that 2010 season, and then Wigan blew everyone away, or it's because he did that in pre-season. Yeah. But we don't see any of it, do we? We don't see anything over
coaches
here.
like Madge, they nail down fine details, and Benji would have played under coaches, Wayne Bennett for one of them, who narrows down them
Will
fine
played
details.
Under both, won't he? He would have played under Madge and Wayne Bennett.
Yes, he would have done. But Madge, I remember once Wigan came down to play Catalans in Montpellier, and they left a crib sheet up in the away changing room, so they cleared everything out and left a crib sheet out. And he went into the finest little details on each Catalan player, so literally what shoulder is dominant, but even going down to what injuries they've had in the past, and you know what I mean. So if they've had a shoulder injury, run at that shoulder.
So
that's
the detail.
That is the finite details that someone like that goes into.
This is what they're saying. They're talking about now, aren't they? Where you've got coaches on a team, and a lot of the time in rugby league, you've got a defence and attack coach. Whereas some are now saying, like your analyst and stuff is one of the most important positions to have. You've then got, I've noticed Wigan now, I don't know if you heard the recent one with Paul Deacon, he's not coming as attack or defence, he's coming as first play and last play coach. Yeah. Like the fine details are the fine margins that could win your games, and I think the quicker teams get up to scratch with that, makes you wonder, doesn't it? Cass, I think Cass have got attack and defence coach. Some other clubs are the same.
I think that comes down to finances as well. If you've got Wigan's finances, then you can afford to have an attack and a defence, and then a first and last play.
Well, we've spoke about it before, haven't we? In terms of even like medical staff and physios and strength and conditioners, it's like
even players getting scans.
Yeah. What have clubs got access to? You know, you've either got the best physio is going to demand more than a generic standalone physio that's maybe working 5 days for NHS, I don't know. But if you're a specialist rugby league physio, I can guarantee Wigan and Warrington and Saints have probably got the best.
And Leeds.
And Leeds and the rest of them, who've they got? And it's no disrespect to any of them, but it sort of makes you wonder where...
Or it's a fan of the club who is qualified as a physio, who puts his hand up and says, you know what, I'll do it because I've got a love of the club.
And I'll do it for less money.
Peanuts and a free going to see all the games. Because a lot of fans would do it, wouldn't they? You get travel with players, watching, being there day in day.
And it makes you wonder now, you know, these sort of players that are, or head coaches that are going into, just using Steve Mack as an example, he ain't going to be an assistant coach for an assistant coach's wage, is he?
No.
I'm not saying he'll be a full head coach.
I don't know what his official title is at Warrington.
I don't.
Assistant. Did you notice he did a lot of the, like pre-season? He did a lot of the communication with press and stuff as well.
But
Sam
that
takes
a lot of pressure off Sam, doesn't it?
I've seen him listed as like just coach. Yeah. Coach.
Yeah, interesting.
McNamara speaks, you know, so.
Interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, Warrington a decent win, but I don't think it's too much to write home about. To be honest, if I'm looking at Warrington goal, if you're being picky, I'm thinking, why have Gould scored 10 points?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
If you're being harsh, you're sort of looking at, I don't think Sam will be happy with conceding against them.
Knowing Steve Mack, he probably isn't.
Yeah.
He's pulling people into line to say...
that shouldn't be happening.
That shouldn't have happened.
So if they're scoring 10, well, you're thinking we're going to score in 30.
Yeah.
You know, Huddersfield and Hull KR, it's a sorry state of affairs at Huddersfield at the minute. Obviously, a lot going on injury-wise, but again, they've been tanked 2 weeks in a row, haven't they? By
I don't until they get some troops back. I don't see Huddersfield getting a win.
Well, you don't. You think
I don't. I even think if they obviously because they've got a lot of long term now, haven't they? Like
at some stage, there's going to be a question asked about if they're staying in Super League next year, because there's a team down south knocking on the door, ready to
100%.
go.
The problem I've got with it as well. If I was the governing body looking at it, you're thinking they're going to spend some brass. They're going to get some of the best players from the NRL.
It's going to be better. You've seen already the people they're getting down.
But you look who they've even got now in the Championship. Like what that'll do for Super League with massive. The NRL players, I guarantee you now, if Hull FC offers them 100 grand and London offers them 100 grand, they're going to go to London. 100%. They want to live in the big city, don't they? They want that lifestyle. They want that travelling sort of touristy vibe. Same as if we were to go over there, we want to go probably to Sydney rather than Queensland. You know what I mean?
100%.
North Queensland. So it's the exact same thing. So,
but
but they're going to attract more players down there, aren't they? You know, players are going to want to live in London, and with the owners, they are going to get the bigger NRL players.
Well, you look at it already, don't you? Look at Campbell Gillard there. Well, he's your face that's starting all this project, and they've had, you've seen in the off-season, pre-season.
Most Australians have heard of Darren Lockyer.
Well, exactly that.
They haven't heard of Grant Whitechapel, but they've heard of Darren Lockyer.
Yeah.
So
that's the key.
Everyone. So they were doing stuff during the Ashes tournament and whatever else. They were putting on watch-alongs and whatnot.
Yeah,
come and watch England versus Australia, and they were selling merch and getting people involved. They're getting there.
I think something feels different about them this time to any other time they've been about.
It reminds me of 94, 95 when the Broncos, when they became Broncos. No, it was before him.
Before that, right?
Brisbane Broncos bought them.
Right.
And they sent over some of their reserve players, so the Terry Mattisons and
right. So that's how he ended up. I always wondered. I thought, why did he? Because I remember when obviously we were at Cass and it were things going back to him playing at London.
But they sent over some of their reserve players, which was Terry Mattison and whatnot, and filled the squad full of.
Is there any connection with Brisbane?
There's got to be some.
There's got to be something, hasn't
with
there?
Lockyer, because isn't Lockyer a president of some kind of Brisbane
like
Broncos?
So
there'll be something in the pipeline when they come up. There'll be something in the pipeline with and to be fair, I don't know why a lot of clubs haven't looked at it before. Whether we do.
Brisbane trained with them, didn't they, when they came over?
Well, you're looking at it. I'm looking at it as. Obviously, they had the top 30, and even on the West's thing, they had players that were on training trial, didn't they? Yeah. So there's players not making that 30-man squad roster.
But they've got all the New South Wales Cup players as well.
So you think, right, you've got your Q Cup, whatever, on there that are sat waiting. You've then got your training trial players.
Even Lockie can pick the brains of those analysts down at Brisbane and say, right, don't even have to give me your top 30, 40 players. Yeah. Give me your next 10.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gone to PNG, and how many players have got PNG? Because Dimitri knows them.
Yeah, very true. But Hull KR routine again, I really could not see Huddersfield. Well, they were playing just anyone, weren't they? There were a few names, few debutants. It's just a tough gig, innit, at the moment. But I think the worry was...
Didn't they run out of subs as well at one stage?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They did that the week before as well. So twice in a row they've run out of subs. And they finished the game with 12 men.
I don't know if you've seen all the highlights and stuff as well. The game was actually on that YouTube channel, so I actually watched it. Yeah. But some of the defence was appalling. And I'm talking like man-on-man stuff, like, and you're sort of thinking like, I know players drop off tackles and stuff, but someone would absolutely shock it. I think it was that Leyland, he like walked through.
Yeah, I've seen it.
He like walked through, and I was like, how's that happened? Like, this is man-on-man rugby. Like,
I think, every time I've been down to watch the Giants this season, I've watched them a few times, and they managed to stay in the Wakefield game for a longer period of time, but they started...
That was the closest,
they started decent against... I mean, I wasn't there this week, but they started decent against KR in the league last week, but then it's like, as soon as they concede a couple of tries, it's like, all the players just like, right, I know, we're going to get them.
Yeah, right.
It's almost like, they concede 2 or 3 tries and they think, that's it now, we know we're going to get blown away, let's,
I think did they score after 2 or 3 minutes in this one? I think it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
You almost sort of get the impression, like, I'm not saying the excuses come out early, but it's all in the press. They've got 16 fit players, 4 debutants, they're getting players on loan to play reserve game fixtures. Jack Walker, I think he played for Huddersfield Reserves, which comes on to, whilst we're on Hull KR, Rocky, he played for Hull KR Reserves, so I think Ryan Hampshire's putting himself in shot window again, which I think he'd do a job at a few clubs at the minute, to be fair, whether that be Huddersfield or Cass.
Jordan Desiree from France as well.
Yeah, he was in there, wasn't he?
He played for Hull KR.
Yeah, so yeah, there's players there. I know it's not as easy as pulling them out, and to be honest, some of these, I think what they're having to find is who's not playing at a championship club, because some of these champ players won't want to go full time with any of them clubs.
Well, you look
at peanuts. They might have sorted them sent out now.
But you look at some of them championship players, and they might be earning 30-40 grand a year anyway in their own jobs. Plus they're getting 10 grand a year for playing rugby.
Not going to go for 25 grand to.
It makes no sense.
Cass, are they, or Huddersfield? Yeah, exactly that, mate. So, yeah, Hull KR, we spoke about Huddersfield last week before all this kind of happened, being a potential banana skin. You know, coming back from Vegas, how do you get up for a game in Huddersfield Sunday afternoon? But they've made light work of both games, haven't they, really? So I suppose the test will come. So another fixture this weekend and then another toughie the week after, so, and then they've got the derby, I think, after that.
Hindsight's great, but you couldn't have asked for two better games after Vegas, could you?
Yeah, exactly. If they were playing Wigan away in that game and then derby at home or something, you don't need that, do you? So yeah, I think they'll have been in the end licking their lips at playing them a second week in a row. Lee and Hull, I feel like it could have gone either way, this one. I think both clubs started pretty poor. You've said before, haven't you, Shay, about Hull FC, you've not seen a lot from them. They've had a few bad injuries again. They've obviously star player out for the season.
Lee are my biggest worry now. I just don't think I haven't seen enough from them at all since it's been a little bit of a strange one. I thought they've more or less had the same team starting. I know
lost the fullback,
they've lost Josh Hodgson now, but obviously he played Bailey. But yeah,
is Armstrong playing?
Well, he's still the ACL.
Yeah.
I think he's due back in the next sort of 3 to 4 weeks. But both of them teams, Lee and Hull FC, obviously I predicted Lee to obviously league leaders, and I predicted Hull obviously in the top 6. But I think one of them will finish in the top 6. But I think they both. I know it's early doors, but they both struggled early doors. And obviously I know they beat Lee, won that first game against Leeds, but they didn't convince me that it were. So like. Lee really haven't convinced me at all, and neither of Hull FC. So I didn't know which way that one was going to go. I think I did go with Lee just with home advantage, but
yeah, I think it could have gone 50-50 that for me. You know, either team. I think possibly Lee just with home advantage.
Yeah. Hull moved Zach Hardaker back to fullback as well now.
Well, it's funny because we spoke about this, didn't we, last week? Obviously, David Litton had a nightmare at Wakefield the week before, and I remember seeing Hardaker obviously playing in. I think he was in centre at this point, but you're sort of looking, thinking, well, the problem there was he wasn't catching the ball. Yeah. Well, Hardaker ain't dropping the ball, is it? I could be stood corrected. He might have dropped one at weekend, but Hardaker's best.
You wouldn't know because it wasn't on telly.
Hardaker's best assets were
his
defence,
safe,
and he was safe as houses, wasn't he? So yeah, I think it's a no-brainer to have him back. I don't know what sort of game he had, but I think Hardaker is probably answered to put him back there for now. Obviously, he's probably carrying a bit more weight than he was when he were playing at peak there. But
he can still get around though.
Yeah,
he's class.
One of their best players last season.
He's been best player last season, wasn't he? And he's probably started their best player as well, hasn't he? As well.
Worked so hard.
And then lastly, last game to cover was Cass at home to Saints. We spoke about Cass maybe licking their lips at this one. Saints depleted. Their squad were looking a bit thin. Yeah, they've come out comfortable winners, really. I was quite surprised at this one, and I wasn't going to be shocked if Cass came away with a win here, but yeah, it seemed again they've kind of surprised the Saints.
I've not seen it, but there were a controversial referee call, and
well,
Cass just come out.
Yeah, I think it was this. I mean, the second or third try. Can you remember which one it
third
was?
One.
It looked a bit dubious, and I just thought,
said it was a knock on.
Yeah,
I just said it was a knock on, but then I think they've said that it wasn't or something. Yeah. So.
Because the worst bit was you could hear the referee on the highlights. So you can hear the referee.
Right,
so whether it was the linesman or the referee who called it, someone said knock on, and then the other one said play on. So then they've gone through and scored, and you kind of look at it as a bit of a momentum swinger, won't you? Because I think that was the third try, and when you go 3 tries down, you're thinking it could be a tough day in offices.
Well, when you're 3 tries down to St Helens, it's a tough ask against any team. But Saints, in fairness, seem to be firing pretty well in that game. I was speaking to a Cass fan earlier today, and he was saying that it didn't matter what minute of the game it was, every kick went up in air to corner, and every kick had 5 men chasing. Cass put kick up in air every time. Sailor would catch it on 40-metre line and be nearly into their half. And it was just like they couldn't get out. We didn't go to the game this week, but he went and he was saying that Saints, if they had a full team, should be right up there. I think
they didn't play any McDonald either this week, did they?
I think there were plenty not there. Plenty not there. They had 2 HIAs. Daz Clark, he went off in the first half. Burns came on to replace him. He went off with a failed HIA. So I don't know who they've got left for this weekend's fixtures, but I think they get Delaney back. But Sirenen's gone off now on a calf injury. Yeah. So I think the positive for them is Hastings seems to have found his feet quite quickly. He went a bit quiet against Bradford, but yeah, I think going back to that controversial point, I think the disappointing thing for Cass is you can say, well, it would have knock on, but why didn't Cass play a kilt ball? Yeah. The point was, you win games and it's players killing ball in it, then 1% efforts, and he's simply, it happens, doesn't it? But human error.
They had a few players like that against Leeds last week as well, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Cass.
Same stuff, like little errors like that. Ravwala not catching the ball. I don't know what sort of game he had this week, but yeah, I just think they were never at races. Cass, when you're 12-0 down in 5 minutes, it's writing's on the wall, and it's tough to come back from that. But yeah, we'll go on to sort of this weekend's fixtures. Moving forward, see what we've got planned for this weekend. Well, hopefully, to start with, we've got some televised fixtures. That'll be a good start. Nice. Starting Thursday night, we're at the DW Stadium. Is it called Red Brick Stadium?
Red Brick.
Let's make any names up now, don't they? Red Brick Community Stadium. At home to York. I think if you were seeing Wigan play every week this week, you'd see fixtures and you just think, well, that's a win for Wigan. Yeah. I think that's just the nature of them at this moment in time.
I think at home as well, it's tough.
Have Wigan had a test yet?
No.
Well, no, they haven't been tested, but I think that's a little. Well,
if you're looking across the league, who's going to test them at the minute? Possibly
Warrington. I don't know.
Leeds.
If they're playing Saints tomorrow, I'd say no, probably, because I can't really.
I just think if they play anyone at home,
but if they play them Good Friday in a couple of weeks' time, when Saints get a few more troops back, then.
Where is that game? Is it at Saints?
Saints, yeah. Well, we spoke, didn't we, saying that the likelihood was going to be that Wigan won't lose a game up to that point, so they're going to be on 14 points. I think going into that. But then we spoke about Hull KR, who are on. They'll be on 6 now. Will they be on 6?
They've lost 2.
So they played.
Lost to York.
Played the first fixture, didn't they?
Lost to York, lost to Leeds.
That was their first win, wasn't it? So they're on 2 points.
They're on 2 points,
Yeah, because they played a game less than everyone
That's
else.
right. So they played a game less. So they're on 2 points. If they win this week, they'll be on 4. If they win the following week, 6. So they'll go into the derby. They'll be on 6 points, whereas Wigan will already be on 14 points.
I just think you look at the derby, Jai Field's going to be back for derby.
Mum was sure about that. They didn't look confident from what I was seeing in
They said 4 to 6 weeks, and he said 6 weeks.
And he got appendicitis.
Yeah, he's had him out. He's had him out.
Which is weird, because the last player I remember to have that was Luke Gale, and he played about 2 days later.
That's what I mean. He'll be back for that Good Friday game. I can probably say that now. He'll be back for that Good Friday
That'll
game.
be mind games,
He'll be back for that Good Friday game.
Well, to be honest, for Saints, they're getting some players back because, like I say, they could be absolutely obliterated at home. And Saints seem to be sneaking. We'll come on to them in a bit. Obviously, they've got to lose this week, but back to Wigan. Games seem to be routine at the minute. I can't see York getting anything from this. It reminds me a bit of when they went to Leeds a few weeks ago. I think they're doing all right at home. They're into the next round at Cup. They'll be pretty happy with their starts, and I think it's a bit of a free at this for them. What can I say? I don't think it'll be tight. I don't think it'll be a 60 blowout either, but I think you're still looking at
30 points.
Wigan, I'd say Wigan by 20, 24, 30 points. We'll see. But yeah, an odd one. The Saints game against Toulouse is on Friday
in France.
Night. So that's an interesting one. Interesting to see how Saints actually travel there for a
start. They might have a decent road trip.
Been setting off today.
They've set off today. Well, hopefully they might be there by Friday. So if they get all lads out of medical room, they might be there by Friday.
I think this could be a real tough game for Saints. Just with how many they've got out, and Toulouse have just been bang at it this season.
And they've had a week off this week, Toulouse.
Yeah, so
we know Challenge Cup.
I think they're going to be really fresh. A lot of their players are going to be fresh, and I think with that little bit of a home advantage, maybe they're travelling for Saints. I think, especially with the numbers that you look at Saints have got out, I think Saints could be in for a real tough test.
Well, you look at Saints' next 3 fixtures now. They're playing Toulouse, they then play Hull KR away, they've then got Wigan at home.
Tough
run that.
They will be looking at this Toulouse game as
They've
a must
almost
win.
got a, that's
They've
a
got to
must.
win.
Yeah,
it's
it's a
weird
must,
because
yeah.
that's a must win for Saints.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you're sort of looking at they've won every game since that first Warrington game. So it's kind of like if you looked at the Super League table, you look at they're into at next round at Cup. They've got these injuries. They're going to get players back at some point in the season. And again, from what this Cas fan said, he were talking about if they had the full fit team, they could be really dangerous. But I think they're going away to Toulouse. It could be a really tough.
And if it's
do they take
joking
it as,
aside, if it is a tough road trip, so if you are going to Munich and bussing in, or if you're going anywhere else in Europe and bussing in, it's not an easy trip.
Even if you're catching 2 flights to France, it's a long slog, isn't it? Even 2 flights.
It sounds daft.
Without being too nerdy, there is a flight from Manchester to Carcassonne on a Friday morning.
You're right to tell Emma McManus to tell them how to get there, just in case they haven't booked this bus trip already. But yeah, it's a tough week because they were in Catalan other week, weren't they? They're now in Toulouse. I suppose positive for them, they're getting them out of the way early doors, which is probably a good thing. Notoriously, Saints have struggled travelling. That's why I was surprised that the Catalan went other week. I think it could go either way. That I'm not saying that. I mean, Jackson Hastings, he's walking off with an injury. I think they get Delaney back from a HIA, but that's about it. And then they've got no hooker because Clark Burns failed HIAs, so that was Saturday, so they won't play for either.
I just can't see him winning that game.
No, Sunday even.
Yeah.
So they're definitely not getting.
I'm not saying do they throw the game, but like they've done this. Saints have sent a weak squad to Toulouse before. A few years ago when
it's
Toulouse
a rolly thing to do that.
Yeah. I would not be shocked if that squad gets released and there's a fair few reserve players.
There's no point busting a gut to try and win that because Toulouse are a team this year. Not one of a few they can score from anywhere.
You could bust a gut and win that, but knowingly you're going away to KR.
That's what I mean. They won't bust a gut for that. Paul Rowley
the derby's a must win. If Rowley's doing anything this season, his job is you win the derby. But I genuinely can't call that.
There's no way St Helens win that. I'd put anything on it.
You reckon?
Toulouse, they're going to have more or less a fully fit squad. They're one of the few teams this season that I've watched that can just score a try from absolutely anywhere on the pitch.
I think it's just a game too far for Saints.
I think
it's probably squeezed a few.
And that's all Bolt at back as well.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Yeah. They just like watching this. Even against Wigan, they caused major problems for Wigan. Just throwing ball around, breaking line. And I just think if it wasn't for all your injuries, if you had a fully fit squad going over there, or you were missing 2 or 3, then I would say St Helens maybe could get something out of that game. I just think with the injuries and just Toulouse have just been a totally different team this season, and they'll be looking at that as this is a must-win for them as well to get back on winning bandwagon.
My verdict on it is I've seen Saints throw a game in Toulouse before. They definitely threw that match. The last time they played in Toulouse, they lost the game, and they had I'm not saying a completely weakened squad, but it was. That's interesting.
I think it
Why
was.
is there 4 or 5 reserve players in there playing?
I tell you what, joking aside, they did it a few years in a row at the early years in Catalans as well. The tech reserve squad's over.
It makes you think,
before big games.
I'm looking at it thinking, that seems logical, but then I'm looking at the next 2 fixtures thinking, can you afford to throw 2 points away there? So maybe it's a case of busting a gut here.
If you're trying to get in the top 6, I don't think you can. This year, I don't. There's too many.
There's
too many teams. You can't throw 2 points away.
Maybe they've just got to go for it. So possibly it might be.
But if they put in a performance like they did against Catalans a couple of weeks ago, then actually we might be all right.
Well, I've just seen that Felt, he's been given a 3-match ban, so they're without Felt, but we spoke about
3
matches, 3 games.
So I just don't get how Kieran's got away 2 weeks on trot with his inconsistencies, as Ryan Carr said.
Yeah, interesting. 3-game ban he's got, but I don't know, they might. Well, even if they appeal,
he's still getting some games.
He's not playing next week.
Yeah.
Only positive for Saints is they've had Dagnall sat on bench for the last 2 weeks, who I really liked last season, and I think him and Murphy are the long-term answers for them. If Felt want them, I don't think Felt gets his contract renewed. In fairness, I don't think he'd be opposed to that either. 2 seasons, he might get some of this year, who knows? But yeah, I think Dagnall's definitely a long-term answer for that. Are you going to lose then?
Yeah, to lose.
I think Saints nick it.
I'm going to go with same with you. I think Saints could just nick it, but I think it's a case of that. I think they can't.
I don't think they run away with it, but I think they nick it.
Yeah, I think possibly just by. I think they've been playing alright. They were poor against Bradford. They looked decent last week. They played well against Catalan away. I don't know. It depends if Hastings in squad. I think that's a big blow. If he don't play, I won't like to be thinking that Whitby could stand in and do the job. Interestingly, he won't play in at the weekend, so I think he was dropped.
Right.
Which we spoke about. He didn't look too good against Bradford the week before. So, yeah, I'll go with Saints on that one. Saints to lose. Saints. Good game, this one. Bradford against Huddersfield. Bradford.
I think Bradford takes unbeaten at home this year.
Yeah.
It's a small pitch.
This time of the season as well.
Defensively, they don't have to get a lot wrong to still defend the line, Bradford. Whereas I think they've been found out away from home a little bit.
I think what really surprised me were the manner of the defeat against Saints. That they should have won that game. They were the better team for the majority of it, probably 70 minutes of that match. Couple of small errors.
They'll be hurting over that.
That's the only thing in it, that they've come short. They came short against FC. They've just come short against Saints.
There's no reason why they can't win that one though. There's no like
They've got to.
They'll be looking at.
I think they've got to. I think I don't see Huddersfield getting a win.
No.
With the greatest respect in the world to Huddersfield, I just don't see them getting a win until they get.
I don't.
I'm balls on that one.
I'm really surprised at Bradford this year. I honestly just thought it would have. I'm not saying it was a bit of a joke, but as everyone were probably thinking, how on earth have they got this Super League licence?
But this
the
is
good thing. I think the thing that's favoured and which we've spoke about is they have got an academy set up and all the rest of it, which is probably better than UKR's, which is probably better than
they've got some LED boards around outside the pitch as well.
Yeah, I think they've painted a few walls as well.
There you go. And they've painted stand, so it looks nice and shiny for
polished.
first.
I'll not finish the rest.
Brian Noble said that, didn't he?
Did it?
With a bit of lipstick and a bit of makeup on the old girl, it looks all right.
Yeah, no one can tell me Bradford Bulls have got a better squad than say like Giants or anything like that at the start of the season. So it just comes down to grit and determination for me. I think Giants have been
and team spirit.
Yeah. I just think Giants have been shocking, and it's just a shocking showcase for Super League. That might come across quite strong, but I just think it's. If you wanted people,
that video, I can't remember who.
Yeah, Kyle Amor
that put it up.
A video.
It was like that
to be
must
fair,
have been 10 minutes before kick-off.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't pay £27 to sit in that stand and watch.
Is that what it is?
As well. £27.
£27
for an adult ticket on the day.
I think they were fortunate that there were a fair few UKR fans. Otherwise, that attendance could have been.
What was noticeable reading rugby paper this morning was there were 3 games from Challenge Cup games this weekend that didn't give an attendance.
That's interesting.
There's one reason for that, isn't
no official attendance were given, and I think Huddersfield were one of them.
They should just say, if everyone that's got a season ticket, get your ticket for £7 or the tenner, and then your kids go.
It used to be, I'm going back in the day because I'm older than you two, but it used to be that you got your season ticket and your first round at Challenge Cup was included.
I remember that. I remember getting a season ticket, and that was the same. I'm sure it was that. And even if you had your season. It wasn't even the cards, was it, back then? It were the old school ripping paper out and that.
Giants needed to do something because they was never going to get the fans down there.
No.
I mean, Christ, they do it on a normal league game.
But then, do you want to do something for that game? If you're that depleted and you're playing against the you let's get it out where let's play it as effectively behind closed doors, so we don't.
Well, let's be right. You've got a young kid. You go and give out tickets to school kids. You get them in. They get absolutely tanked. Well, what does every kid think? If that kid's not a rugby fan, but they're going to the game to potentially go and support a new team. Who are they supporting
They're all coming out supporting Rovers, aren't they?
Well, exactly. And it's completely backfired.
The problem I've got is going to sound quite harsh, this, but even if Giants had a fully fit squad, I still don't know how much better they would have done.
They still want to ship 50 points, so.
But
that's the only thing.
They'd have challenged Catalan. They'd have challenged Catalan that first game. But then they want to ship 50 points and a full squad against that Rovers team coming back from Vegas. Actually,
I think they could have done all right.
They might have.
Because to be fair, Rovers were quite. I thought Rovers were quite poor as well that game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It don't look.
But at least they're up there competing.
Yeah, because at minutes it doesn't look great.
Well, I'll ask you a quick question then. I've used the phrase tonight, the writing been on the wall. Is the writing on the wall for Huddersfield Do you think they're in Super League next year?
I think they're up against it.
What about if it's a yes or no?
They were in the bottom two, weren't they? When the IMG things came out, Bradford had jumped above them.
Yeah.
So they're in the bottom two already, and then York and Toulouse came in. So I think if you're basing it on the field, there's a strong chance London get the jump on them. If you're basing it off the field and basing it on crowds increase and sponsorship and stuff that can get done off the field, London probably jump above them again.
Yeah.
The one thing that Huddersfield has for it is that it's the birthplace of rugby league, but you can't rely on that.
What is that? To like, you know what I mean?
But there's not even a George Hotel anymore. It's a building site, isn't it? So it's like if that's the only thing you're hanging your hat on.
Yeah.
As much money as Ken Davies put in and as much work as goes on behind the scenes in that, oh, massively. And you feel for the people who are working there as well. They are busting a gut to get that club up and running and sustainable, and they are trying their hardest. But unfortunately, it's not coming off at the minute, and the product on the field is just not attractive to watch.
Did you see that thing that they brought out just before the season started? I think it was Ralph Rimmer saying something about, it was like a video that came out and it was like the something project and this is what, are we going to win every game? No, we're not. And I just remember seeing that video and thinking, that don't look good. It does not look good. I don't know what their intention was with that. And it was like, like the Giants something.
Isn't he in charge of culture at the club? I think that's what his role is, that he's in charge of culture at the club.
It makes me laugh, the word culture in the club. I reckon the people sometimes that navigate around that word don't even know what it means.
No.
What does that look like?
Exactly.
And I think some clubs might be able to say, well, this is what it looks like, this is what we do, and this is how we operate. If you were to say, what's the culture of Huddersfield?
There is no culture.
If I were to look at Wigan, you can almost see what the culture is because it's how they act, it's how Matt Pete expects them to behave, Radlinski expects them.
But that starts at the top from Radlinski and it works its way all the way down.
So why do we know what they're doing? But if you said, what's the culture at Huddersfield? The culture's not what's going on with the players on the pitch and the dressing room and losing the manager's voice and all that. It's everything else you see around it, and I won't be able to tell you what the culture at Huddersfield is. But
would you be able to do that at Cass as well? You look at them clubs at the bottom end of Super League, and you won't be able to.
No.
Yeah,
and that's probably why they're in the positions that they're in.
It's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be. And you're not telling me by putting some things on the wall like resilience,
that's not
toughness, culture. That's nothing to do with it. And again, I think you can kind of see that clubs don't have they don't have an identity, do they?
No.
And you can see that. I'm pointing there because obviously we're in Huddersfield filming this right now, but I just think it's really poor. I feel for Ken for what he's done. They've had some good times and got some really good points a few years ago. So Challenge Cup at 21, was it? 21,
yeah,
22,
and even League Leaders Shield.
Yeah, League Leaders Shield. They were there and thereabouts. They finished top 3.
But I remember one game against Catalan. He just opened the doors, didn't he? And he just turned around and said, "Everyone come in because I want to make an announcement at half time." And in fairness to him, there were 15,000 people in.
Yeah.
There were a decent crowd. And I think his announcement was about season ticket prices and £100 a season ticket or something like £50 for a season ticket.
They have done that, as we know. You can get in a director's box for £160 or something, and a season ticket might be £80-100. And the bottom line is...
But if you value your club at that, then that's the maximum anyone's ever going to value it at.
Well, it's the old thing, isn't it? If something's if you've got 3 items, one's at £10, one's at £20 and one's at £30, and they all do the same thing, well, you're not going for that one at a tenner because that must be rubbish.
Yeah.
That one at 30, well, that must be the best, but it's probably a bit out of price range. I'll go for one in middle to middle at road. Same thing, innit? It's that some perception of things and whatnot. It's just general life stuff, that, innit? But yeah, you bang on with that. We've gone way off tangent there, but I suppose it's important. Huddersfield's a lot going on there at the minute. Does Luke Robinson see out the season?
Yeah. Can't afford to get rid of him.
I think he does.
Too much money on Ian Watson.
I think he does.
No,
I don't think it's a case of not being able to get rid of him, but I think he does because he's got legitimate reasons as to...
he has at the moment, hasn't he?
He's got legitimate injury reasons. If all them players come back and they're still losing, then he's in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But I think at the minute, I think he's relatively safe.
I think so as well. All going Bulls on that one?
Bulls, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Wakefield and Lee.
At Lights staying on.
Lights, I've been told, I think Matt Ellis were on a podcast and he said that the Lights will be back on
I
this
drove
week.
past it earlier on. Lights were on at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
2 afternoon. I wonder if they know. They might be just losing out on that and power cut at that point.
Yeah.
It didn't look good, did it? Obviously we've mentioned it before, but it didn't look good. What did look good though is Wakefield, I think they're sort of back into the swing of what we saw them as last year. Massive boost for them, Johnson coming back. He were outstanding, I thought, on Friday night. And
unbelievable. And he's a top class player.
Yeah.
He is a top class player.
They need that, don't they? You've got players around Super League. Everyone knows Tom Johnson's gone back there on big money. And questions have got to be asked of, is a winger worth that much money? Well, on Friday night, he showed why he's worth that much money. Yeah, I thought they were really good, really strong. I like what Harvey Smith brings out of dummy half. I like what Jack Sinfield's doing at the minute. A bit of grit, aren't there, with Jazz Tavanga that's come in. Do I think he's one of the best players? No, I don't. But I think he adds that grittiness that Wakefield have missed sometimes. Yeah, he's a nuisance and he's a pest around middle. I think he dropped into 9 at one point as well. And just players like Ollie Pratt playing well.
McMeekan.
Yeah, McMeekan.
McMeekan does what McMeekan
solid.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about Wakefield.
I think Wakefield win that one. I can't see Lee going there with some of their injury woes at the minute as well, and Wakefield back home on a Friday night. I think Trinity will, especially after that Leeds game, massive confidence boost to that one. So
I'm going to go Trin on that one.
I'm going to go Trin.
Yeah. Saturday's fixtures, we've got first game of the afternoon. Don't get any better for Cass. Castleford travelling away to Warrington.
Tough that.
Yeah.
Tough that.
I think that's the last game they need, to be fair. Cass needed a game against possibly one of these uploaded or Giants again. Giants every week.
I don't think Warrington are as good as maybe the ladder suggests.
Well, we've discussed this, haven't we? And I was pretty adamant after that first. I think what made them look good was the fact they beat St Helens. Yeah. Who everyone were kind of saying, Saints have made some signings, look good here.
New coach,
all this kind of stuff, and then Warrington kind of came out firing early doors, and I think Warrington won that game from early start that they had. I think they were 16-0 weren't they, and Saints were on back foot. And as we've said, if you're 16-0 down against a team, don't matter who you're against, you're going to struggle. But yeah, since I suppose the winning games out there, which is the main thing, but I think they'll win this one.
I think they'll win this one.
I think Cass...
I think they'll just have too much pace for Cass.
Yeah,
they play at such a real quick pace, and especially with these new rules this year, I think people are getting up, playing the ball quickly, and
off the back of that.
It suits Danny Walker.
I just think Castleford's packs are just a little bit too small for that one as well. I think they might struggle there. It's, like I say, with speed at game and whatnot. If Warrington Bulls forward pack gets on top of them, get a roll on, it could be.
They'll score 3 or 4 tries in 10 minutes.
So I'm going to go with Warrington on that one as well.
I'll ask you a direct question. Is Ryan Carr the first coach that will get sacked this season? No. I think there'll be some sackings this year.
Ryan Carr will not get sacked from Cass this year.
Going back to your point, I don't think Cass can afford to sack him.
There's not many Super League clubs.
He's only just come in this year. I think you're really up against
how long do they go? I think Cass are another one.
I know,
if
but
they didn't play Giants, I don't know where their wins come from.
You said at the start of the season, you said you didn't expect anything from them. You said their squad's not good enough.
Well,
so how do you want them to do, even with another manager?
That's personally what I thought, but did other people? I think Cass fans expected more.
Yeah, of course, Cass fans are going to expect more because they're the ones that
it's the hope that kills you.
Yeah, you'll expect more from the team that you support. But I did from Giants. I expected more from Giants this season, which haven't vested up.
Well, you all do when you hear at pre-season's been best one yet. You know what I mean? Is any of them coming out and saying it's been shite?
They're not going to sack him. No, I don't think many other coaches could do better with the Tigers.
I'm not sure he's.
Is he the right man for the job?
I don't think he's a bad coach.
He's got a good reputation.
I don't think he's a bad coach.
Have they got him up cheap, do you think?
I think he is on cheap. But I think he did all right.
Could they have got someone? But again, same applies. It's
who's out there?
For me,
I don't know. Tony Smith. Just say Tony Smith's free.
No.
Right, he's going to be more expensive. Could he have got more out of that cast team than what Ryan Carr maybe could?
No.
I think for me, you look at where Lee are now, and the one thing they're missing this year, and they've missed it since the middle of last year, is Chris Chester behind the scenes. And I think the one thing Cass have got going for them is the building something under Chesney. Yeah. So I think the project...
Well, AstroTurf's been laid this week, lads. So
there you go.
That'll help.
You know what to tell you? I can guarantee you now, no matter what he says in the media, he will have not been expected to be anywhere near that top 6 this year. I can guarantee you that now.
I just think
that's realistic,
the building a project.
Yeah.
So you can't just, if you're building a project, you can't just turn around to coach 8 weeks, 9 weeks in and say, right, well, we've not won many games, you're off. I think you've got to go with that project.
How do they keep the fans? I'm just saying,
the one thing about
how do they keep the fans on side?
The one thing about Cass fans is they are
loyal. Yeah, I'll give them that.
And there's nothing else to do in Castleford.
I remember Cass going down and playing in second tier, and we're all still there.
Yeah. There's nothing else to do in Castle, is there?
No, there's not.
Go do a bit of shopping.
Go to Escape, go to Junction 32, and even then, I'm a bit babber now. I just look at teams like, you look at what happened to Ulcar and Wakey. What was the best thing that ever happened to them?
They went down.
I look at Cass and I look at Huddersfield now. Best thing for them could be getting out at Super League.
I know, but you've got to look at
I know it's a backwards step.
Now there's no guarantee you're getting back in.
Well, that's it.
And not just that, obviously.
But they've been treading this fine line for too long.
For far too long.
And Wakey were getting a new stadium, 25 years, well, longer than that now.
Cass are still building it, they're still waiting to dig an hole for their new stadium out there.
Yeah, they're still fencing up on M62, I think.
So, but it's all right. They've put some seats in that.
Seats on that side, aren't they? And smashed the turf down.
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't know. I just.
There's no amount of lipstick or makeup that can help Castleford, I don't think.
Put it this way, honestly, and this will surprise you, I bet Chris Chester is happier with Castleford this season than Richie Myers is with Hull FC.
True. Yeah.
100%.
So like when you put it like that, and Hull FC wage.
So then is Cartwright under pressure?
Yeah, Hull FC's wage bill will be a lot higher than Castleford's. I mean, in terms of like the cap wise and whatever expenditures they've got, will be a lot higher than Castleford. So you can look at it all the way throughout the season, can't you? But I think Cass are in. Yeah, they're not in a great position. Everyone knows that. But I think if Chris Chester can stay there, keep some consistency for even next year, there'll be a lot of. You look at some of them players that Chester recruited at Lee. They're going to be world beaters, and it wasn't before. Yeah. Amila Hanley, I didn't expect anything much from him. No, not at all. When he went to Wigan, unbelievable.
No, there's been some
really
strong players.
I know Lamb's
players that have come and gone back.
Yeah.
Amon.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Asiata and all those sort of players.
So they signed some...
Well, so far, if you were to look, if I quickly went through the coaches here, out of these coaches now, Pete, obviously no. Applegarth started strong. Haggerty started really strong. Robinson, I think he's still, despite what's going on, he's under pressure.
Because they didn't finish last season well, so that comes into it at some stage.
Yeah, it does.
I'll miss this guy out, but I'll come back to him. Ryan Carr, I think there's still pressure there. I think there's got to be.
I think there is pressure, but I don't think
is Chester one. Do you think that's going to sit there and?
He's only started this year. It's not like this is his first pre-season.
I think there's more pressure because of the three clubs that have come up. If they weren't there, I'd probably say
potentially, but we'll see how they do next season. We'll see how they do next season as well.
Cartwright, as you've mentioned, is a great shout. Unfortunately for him, I think Miley's still take no prisoners here. I think it'll be a case of these.
Oh, he's could be on very, very treading fine water in
Derby when that comes
possibly
round,
especially if Rovers go mental like they did do a couple of years ago.
They've nilled them a couple of years now.
Yeah, put a big score on them there.
Brad Arthur's not, is he? Not at all.
Sylvan.
Toulouse, he's stuck by
he's been there about 20 odd years, hasn't he, Sylvan? So
Rowley,
not getting rid of him.
Nah. No. Powell, no chance. He's on a 5-year deal job, innit? Lammy, I don't think they are either. Well, we don't know what privy to his relationship with Derek. But
Derek could do out.
But I think if they want Lucky Lamb to stay, then Adrian's staying, innit? I don't think he's under any pressure at Catalan. I think that's a similar thing to Castleford, but let's be right, I think they've got better resources than what Castleford have got. And then Willie Peters, we spoke about, could he come under pressure? I don't
I don't think he
so. I
does.
think he's
just won
he's
4
got the
trophies.
keys to City and it sort of thing. So if we look at it, it's Cartwright, Ryan Carr's in the mix, Robinson, and I think Warrington have not had a test for me properly, but I think Burgess is.
I think there's a reason why McNamara's gone there.
Yeah, we said this at the start of the season. They've thought about that. Yeah. No one gets 2 head coaches because, like we've said, McNamara won't be on. He won't be on assistant head coach's standard wage. Anyway.
And he's got a record now of getting to grand finals, and he's got a record of winning a Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
So, which is everything Warrington would give anything for all of this. So.
Yeah.
Well, back to the fixture. Casa getting note from that for me, and I think it could be another 40 odd, maybe not 50, but at least 40 odd for Warrington in that game. Catalan at home to OKR, big game this.
It is.
Catalan have looked all right in the last couple of weeks.
Looked all right, but still missing Dodd.
So Phoenix will step in for him.
Yeah, went off the winger, went off with a HIA, so he won't come back. But I suppose Sim will come back in. I think they're expecting Garcia and Bousquet back, which is a big lift for them, but I still don't see them getting up over Rovers.
It's an interesting one. It's just travel again for KR.
I just think with KR, they didn't overly impress me against Huddersfield, but it's hard to see. I know at the end of the day they've still put 52 points.
They just go through a process, though, don't they?
Michael Lewis looked really good.
Go through a process.
But
Jez Litton's killing it, isn't he?
Yeah,
absolutely killing it.
I would say is I don't think what they've shown so far this year is. I thought they played really good rugby last year, whereas from what I've seen this year, even in these 2 games they've won, I've not really seen.
They played really good for first half. They played really good in first half at World Cup Challenge, didn't they?
Yeah.
So if they get back to that,
that
kind of like silky style of rugby, like everything stuck for them last year. And
it's kind of like I think every team gets that every year. There's always one team that everything just goes well.
But again, they've trained all pre-season with Arthur Morg at fullback, but then this year, and then he's gone.
It makes
a big difference.
I've heard rumours he's off to LFC.
Is he?
Broadbent.
Oh, Jack Broadbent.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is, but obviously they're looking for someone out there. Broadbent's on the outside. So how long's Morg out for? Is it quite an extended period?
They've got Morg and that Declan Murphy as well, haven't they?
I think he's injured, but I don't know if it's a long-term thing.
It depends what...
Clearly they've got that Murphy for a longer-term vision, if you like.
But Morg's not, he's like, what is he, 24, 25?
Yeah,
so it's not like
young,
he's...
Yeah.
I think Broadbent, will he ever... Is he just victim of that utility role, the old school Richard Whiting kind of thing?
That's probably when you play it well, innit? He's played full-back, wing, centre. I think he even did a little bit in halves as well when he were at Cass. Like, you know, he's just jumped in everywhere, hasn't he?
Yeah, when he was coming through, you never seem to know his position. Does a really good job when he steps in.
Sutcliffe as well, though.
Sutcliffe, he was another one victim of that. Sees he centred, is he stand-off, is he a full-back?
I think it hampers you a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's just victim of that being kind of, is it disrespectful to say jack of all? You're kind of really good in every position, which is great. You'll always have a career somewhere. But are you going to be a superstar starting player somewhere?
Having said that could have been labelled at Jake Conor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there, yeah.
But then he's found a coach who said, you're going to be my halfback.
Yeah, exactly that. Whereas you would look at him now and go, right, we'll put Jake Conor in centre. We'll put him at fullback.
Or even at fullback, you won't put him there, would you know? I'm going to go KR on that one.
I think KR.
Yeah. I can't. I think it'll be tight. I think it will be a close game, to be honest.
I'm going to go Dragons on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Dragons.
I can see it. It wouldn't overly shock me if they did.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a shock. I wouldn't be shocked if KR go there and win it. It'd just be a professional performance.
I think it's one of them games that Catalans, it's probably one of them games that in a year's time, you'd probably say, yeah, Catalans will win that.
Yeah,
but I think it's just
minute,
too early.
Very quickly, how far are Catalan away from getting back to getting to a grand final? Are they years off? Are they a couple of years away?
I think they are. Certainly not this year. I'd be really surprised if they did it this year. I think
will they make the playoffs this year?
I don't see why they can't.
I think next year.
I think their home record this year will be key.
Yeah.
Especially against your teams like your Yorks, like your Bradfords.
They're must-wins, aren't
they? You've got to
win them at home, and then you might sneak a win against a Leeds or a Rovers this week.
Yeah.
Or
underprepared, team, something like that.
Yeah.
I'll go with Dragons this week, just possibly feeling like they could if it goes in their favour, again, KR travelling, it's all that. I mean, the professionals, they're used to it, travelling an hour and a half, whatever. It depends how they get there, I suppose. But
there's a flight out of Manchester on Friday.
And then last one at the weekend, could be a big one, this one. Hull FC against Leeds. Leeds, obviously, a really poor performance last weekend. FC on a loss, so both teams on a loss from last week. I think I'm going to go with Leeds just to get back on the horse again, so to speak.
After growing up a Leeds fan and going to Hull many years and always seeing us get beat no matter what, I think we had a 14-game winning run at one year and went to the Boulevard and got beat. So I'm always wary of Leeds going to Hull.
It always seems to be that with certain.
It's just one of them clubs that they never seem to play well at and never seem to get a result at. So I'd be pushing maybe Hull FC to.
Well, FC need a win quick, don't they? Aside of that, the
Miller's old team, there's a few ex-Leeds players in there as well.
Yeah.
In that squad.
I think it's going to be a tough one, mate. I think if especially Hull FC, I think they've got quite a good capability. I mean, other people might not see it, but they can make games quite scrappy against.
And I tell you what, you get that crowd behind you.
Yeah.
At FC, there'll be 12,000 people in there, and that's before you start throwing Leeds fans into it. So there'll be 12,000 FC fans in there getting behind them. If they get an early score,
they're on 2 points.
Yep.
They lost to Wakefield away. They've lost to Wigan away.
Yeah.
They've played Lee and lost away. So have they only played one at home?
Lost to York at home.
Yeah, lost to
York at home.
I think Hull FC will win that, and that's only because I think some people might have put Rhinos a bit too far ahead after the Vegas win. Which thing is, if you get the ball to Sevo, he's scoring tries, isn't it? No matter what. It's a tough one to call. That
as good as Lewis Martin is. You'd still back Sevo.
I think he could be up again. He might be up against that Barron, might he? Is that Harvey Barron? Sevo left, Barron's on the right, innit? So he'll be up again. But either way, don't matter who he's up against. He's going over the top of something.
It just reminds you of Lomo, doesn't it, John? Back in there.
Big Leslie as well, Bradford.
Just leaving stud marks on people's faces.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hull FC on that.
It's an interesting one. I think Leeds will nick it. I think it'll be really close, like I say, very scrappy game. And I think that's what Hull need to do. I can't see FC outplaying them.
Not if Jake Conor turns up.
I think Caesar usually has a good game against Leeds as well whenever he's played them. Whether
again,
it's for Huddersfield.
You are right in that. When he was at Huddersfield got a few away wins at Headingley, didn't he, as well? Caesar, who else is there? Ardaker.
Sutcliffe.
What's his face that's just gone?
Playing as well.
Sony.
Yeah, so there's a few players there.
Yeah. We shall see.
I don't think they outplay him. I just think possibly Rhinos might just tip it, and I'm talking 2 points. Could be a golden point job here as well.
Yeah.
But this year, have we?
No, I don't think we have actually. Or what do you call it? No, that didn't go to a golden point, did it?
No.
Bradford FC. That go to it? No, it didn't. Leeds. If they lost to Leeds this week, they then play. Who do they play after that? Someone else after that. Then the derby. So UFC have got next. They play the derby, so they've got 3 games up to play in Hull KR. If they then say they lose all 3 of them fixtures,
then he's under real pressure.
Do you think he goes by that point?
I don't think. Well, money's no object to UFC at the minute, is it? So.
Well, they've got Catalan at home again the week after.
Yeah,
I think if they lose to Leeds, they lose to Dragons, and they lose to.
He's under real pressure.
They then play Saints. I think they make a change then. I think after the derby they make a change. They certainly don't make one before the derby.
Who do they play after Saints?
Cass.
No.
But that's away at Cass.
Joking aside,
they struggled at Cass.
That's when you'd make the change, wouldn't
it? It's tough when you make a change throughout the season because then.
Do you make it earlier rather than later?
Well, I know, but if they're going to go get an RL, an Aussie coach, then it's a case of looking at.
I think they'll be looking at the likes of like Ben Ormby. People like that. Again, who they're getting an assistant coach from somewhere out.
Matt King's really highly rated at the Roosters.
Possibly.
I think the LFC, if they sack Cartwright, they definitely get another Aussie. They don't get an English coach.
So, Leeds.
Oh.
I'm going to go Leeds.
You're going to go Leeds?
Yeah, I'm going to go Leeds.
I'm going to go Leeds just... Sorry, mate, I presumed you were saying Leeds then, but... Yeah. I don't know if you were torn in between.
No, I went LFC, but then I'm going to go Leeds.
Right, well, I'm going to Leeds as well. And that rounds up this weekend's fixtures.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for everyone that's watched this week. If you haven't yet already, make sure you've subscribed on our YouTube channel. We've worked out that plenty of listeners have not yet subscribed, so drop a like and a subscribe. Thanks to Nova Coffee in Sisset, Huddersfield, as always. Make sure you get down there and try out their coffee down here. Most of the rugby league lads in this area are trying it out now. So
And Australia.
The Australian rugby league team, and yeah, we couldn't quite get the Brisbane Broncos down, but yeah, the Aussies have been down and tried it out, and the verdict's good, I've heard. So yeah, thank you, Ricky, for joining us. Hopefully you can join us on another one. Great to have your insight on all things rugby league last weekend, this weekend coming. We'll see how this weekend pans out. Shay, thanks as always.
Cheers, Matt.
Thanks, Ricky.
Cheers.
Cheers, thanks again.